So, I don't normally do reaction videos on this channel, and part of the reason for that is because a lot of people make those videos and I'm very slow with editing, so by the time I get anything out there, there would already be like 10 plus videos, and most of what I have to say will have been said. But I just watched the Cottage Living trailer for The Sims 4, and I was intrigued, and I think it could be a fairly fun pack. So I decided I'd make a video about it because my only other Sims 4 pack video was a trailer reaction for Journey to Batu, which is easily the worst pack in my opinion, and I actually didn't even buy it in the end. But this pack is definitely going to be better than Journey to Batu. I think I can safely say that no matter what it turns out like, and it has an aesthetic that interests me, so if this is the last Sims 4 pack video I ever make, at least it's sort of balanced between one that was kind of showing the worst of EA and something that I personally think could be a good pack. So what I'm going to do is basically go through the video, pause it in certain places and comment on certain things I notice, but before I do that, I just want to point out a couple of other things and give a brief outline of the pack. So if you keep up with the Sims modding community at all, you'll definitely be aware of Arnie, a Sims 4 modder who previously made an open world mod for The Sims 4 called Brook Heights, which is amazing, but I personally haven't tried it because it requires the City Living expansion, and the only expansions I have are Seasons and Get to Work. And then I have a few of the game packs and stuff packs. So Arnie has been working on a new farming mod. I haven't been keeping up with that too much, but I remembered him announcing it a while ago on Twitter, and his mod also includes a few things that are in this pack, but also things that aren't in this pack, like horse riding apparently, which sounds amazing. So the timing of this pack is interesting since Arnie uploaded a trailer for his mod a couple of days ago, which you can find via his Twitter or directly from his YouTube channel, Arnie Sims Plus. So obviously people will be comparing the two. I think that's inevitable as they are very similar packs. It's kind of the elephant in the room really, but I'm also hoping people don't get into arguments about it on Twitter because I think both packs can coexist. And I also don't imagine he wants to be in the middle of a kind of EA versus the mod community war. I don't think that's really fair to him without knowing how he feels about the new pack, and at the time of scripting this video, all I've seen him post about it is a post that says he'll still release his mod even if it does turn out to be a farming pack, which of course it has, and that they'll probably be able to complement each other. And then he posted another tweet about the cows looking cute, which I suppose they do, but personally I'm all about the llamas. So one final thing before I finally actually talk about the video itself is I noticed a bunch of people on Twitter and YouTube have been speculating about whether this pack would bring back fairies, and I haven't watched any of those videos, so I don't know if any of these points have been brought up, but this was something I really liked the idea of, because it also seemed like they were going for an English countryside kind of look for the pack. And as a British person as well who has visited various areas of the countryside, including places like Glastonbury, not the music festival, there's a kind of lore around certain places like that that sometimes involves fairies. So like Glastonbury Tor, for example, is associated with Avalon from Arthurian legend, but I've also seen it associated with the Welsh otherworld Annwn, and being a kind of fairy kingdom. So incorporating that countryside location with a kind of magical fairy storyline would have been a really great way to reintroduce them into the game, but I think it's safe to say from the trailer they're not coming back because I think they would have had a noticeable presence in the trailer if they were, and aside from a sort of magical Disney bird moment at the beginning.
Do animals talk to you? Oh! Oh!
There's no obvious signs there. Also, EA has tended to introduce the supernatural life states as game packs, not expansions. Like, you have the Sims 4 Realm of Magic pack, which introduced spellcasters, and the Vampires pack, which introduced werewolves. Though aliens are obviously an exception, as they were included in Get to Work, but I think maybe part of the reason they do that is because a lot of people don't like occult sims. They're kind of an acquired taste, and some people like very realistic gameplay. I personally like having the option because I love fantasy and supernatural stuff, as long as it doesn't become too intrusive to regular gameplay. Like with the zombies in The Sims 3, I always had to set the moon to a new moon phase just to avoid them. Though it's also possible that they wanted to keep them a secret to be discovered through gameplay, especially considering Sylvan Glade in Willow Creek, which wasn't widely advertised I don't think, but it looks like a secret fairy world, and then there's the eyes. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm now going to go through the actual trailer and comment on some of the stuff there. I think how I'm going to do this is I'll let the actual trailer play through first, and then I'll go back and comment on specific parts.
Oh! Oh! Global.
Great thatch roof cottage here, which looks really nice. I really like all the building stuff I can see here. There's also this adorable rabbit. I really hope this means that you can have pet rabbits, and I'm wondering if you'll be able to have them even without the cats and dogs expansion, because I didn't buy that one and I don't really want to, but I think having pet rabbits would be really cute. It also looks like they can eat parts of your garden, so perhaps the wild rabbits will be kind of a pest sometimes that can destroy your plants unless you protect them. That could be an interesting feature, but I could also see it becoming very annoying depending on how it's set up, a bit like in The Sims 2 with the strays rolling around in your flower beds and destroying furniture outside the house. So this next part is really interesting because it looks like the Sims are swimming in a pond, and then you have the reintroduction of Mrs. Crumplebottom. There's no gameplay footage obviously, but it will be interesting to see if they've re-added the pond tool or if the ponds are just fixed objects, because I've wanted something like that for a while, but it does look like there are Sims swimming in the pond, and this pond is a different shape and size to the ones here, so maybe they've re-added the pond tool. Love the llamas, that's a huge plus for me because firstly, the llamas are iconic to the Sims series, so it's kind of weird that they haven't had llamas in previous animal packs in other games. But also, when I was a kid, we went on holiday a bunch of times to France on this particular campsite, and they had llamas there, so that kind of takes me back. So you also have chickens, and the toddlers can play with them, or at least play with the chicks, and that's kind of adorable. Also, just wanted to highlight the chicken wearing a top hat here. So you can see here there's a child sim doing needlework, which is a cute feature. I don't have the nifty knitting pack, so I know that introduced a bunch of knitting related stuff to the game. I assume the fact that they focused in on this means that it's new to this pack, and that looks pretty cool. I like seeing new hobby activities introduced, especially for kids, because there's a real lack of stuff for kids to do in The Sims 4, especially in the base game. In addition to all of the farm animals, this pack has also introduced a lot of wildlife, like you have the birds, which you see at the beginning, you have the rabbits, and you've also got foxes, which is really cool. And I assume they'll come by to harass the rabbits and mess up your garden. It's interesting to see the interaction between the animals, because with the llama here, I suppose you might be able to use the llamas as a kind of protection against the foxes. So it also seems like you can breed chickens and they'll have chicks, and you can get milk and maybe eggs from the chickens to use in baking and cooking, and it seems like kids can help out with baking now, which is really cool. I hope they allow them to do other tasks as well, like maybe help in the garden and stuff, because that's something kids do in real life as well. So in the kitchen scene, you can also see a jam jar there. Now that's possibly just a decorative object, but I'm hoping that you can collect fruit and berries and stuff and make jam with it in the game, because that would be like a pretty interesting feature to include. You've also got these stalls where I guess you can sell vegetable produce. It seems like there's a kind of farmer's market, and it looks like there's a competition going on with a judge where you can compete with stuff you've grown. Very briefly, at about 1 minute 59 into the video, you can also see some interesting looking ruins. I'm not sure if it will be possible to visit this part of the world, but that's also very interesting to me. Before I move on, I just want to point out that little cottage that's on top of the hill. I really like the landscaping here. So you've also got this rainbow cow here, which I hope means that you can breed different types of cows and other animals. And I'm wondering if you can get Highland cows, because they're my favourite type of cow. If they're not in the game, then what even is the point? So if you go over to the website, it says you can earn the trust of wild rabbit, foxes and birds for occasional gifts. It's not clear on whether you can adopt the rabbits, but since one was inside a house interacting with the toddler, I think it's possible. You can also see ducks in some footage and screenshots. I assume there will be minimum interaction with the ducks, but that's still pretty cool, and it'll be interesting to see how the swimming sims that are like swimming in ponds and lakes interact with the ducks, if that happens at all. Maybe they'll have like some mood they get into if they get like attacked by ducks or something. That would be kind of funny. So they've also brought back picnic baskets, which I really love, so I assume you can pack some food and go out and eat anywhere. And it also mentions a pub, so I'm hoping that will be a lot you can visit and not a rabbit hole. I think it probably will be a lot, but my second concern, I guess, is how the interior of the pub will end up looking. Just because EA builds are often kind of lacking, like that bar in the Realm of Magic expansion. I feel like that could have been a really cool lot, but it was really bland inside. In fact, at one point I was going to make a video like exploring different EA created lots and sort of rating them or something, I think. I never bothered doing that in the end, but that video was actually inspired by the Realm of Magic bar, because I just looked at it and thought, damn, that is a very boring bar, and it's like a magic bar. It's in Glimmerbrook. It's supposed to be like kinda magical in some way, right? And I was just thinking, this is not it. I mean, I do get that it's sort of supposed to be a rest stop kind of bar, like on the way into Glimmerbrook. It kind of gives that feeling, but still the colour scheme and everything is quite boring, and there's just so many more interesting things you could do with a bar like that. Like, just in my mind I can think of all kinds of interesting things. They didn't necessarily create all of the objects and textures and stuff to do that, but still, I don't know. And I'm sure somebody's remodeled it. There's a huge like Sims 4 build community, so I'm sure like a ton of people have made improved versions of that. But yeah, so yeah, I am kind of wondering what this pub will look like. There's no mention of traits or aspirations or anything like that associated with this pack at this point, but it's kind of early, and I imagine that info will come out later with gameplay content anyway. I think there's a lot of fun and cute features in this pack. I still feel like with the pricing of the expansion packs and the features that are included in a lot of the expansion packs for The Sims 4, including this one, feel more like game packs to me. And then the game packs aren't always gamey enough to be an individual pack. Like, they really cut the content up a lot in The Sims 4, and that general business model doesn't appeal to me. Like, for example, I feel like they could have put the Laundry Day stuff pack, the Nifty Knitting stuff pack, the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, the Sims 4 Pet stuff pack, and this pack. And in my opinion, they could have then made that one single expansion pack, but instead they split them up into various stuff packs and expansion packs. And I don't understand that. I mean, from a marketing point of view, yeah, it makes perfect sense. People are buying all of these packs. People are actually buying the Sims 4 packs more than any of the other games. So obviously, I'm kind of in the minority with this. I mean, their price model is working for them, or they wouldn't continue to do it. But I know the Sims community has wanted a farming pack for a while, and I've also really wanted a farming pack, so this is a farming pack basically. So that is great. and it seems like a pretty fun pack. It seems more interesting to me than a lot of the recent packs they've released. So I'm hoping it will be a fun pack. It looks like it could be fun. It looks like it's more interesting to me than a lot of the recent packs that have come out. There are a bunch of cool features in this pack. I think it will still be too empty as an expansion pack for me personally. I definitely, like, unless there's a lot of stuff that is not, you know, I'd have to wait to actually see gameplay and stuff, and there'll probably be stuff that wasn't shown in the trailer that's in this expansion. But if that's the extent of it, then I feel like I think it feels a little empty. But it also seems like a fun pack. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I was planning on getting a Sims 2 video out as my next video, so that will be my next video after this video. Thank you for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.